Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Wednesday, July 30th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So ticker symbol number one, STAI. Nice mover today, and now we have ourselves a good quality pattern. So as I map out this pattern here, please realize I'm not trying to impress you or imply that this is a great discovery. A lot of people have drawn this pattern, and I make that comment because when a lot of people are watching the same levels and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movements. So got to think a lot of people have drawn that as an upward trend line. And then down here, we have this lower trend line. Let me change that to green to represent support. And then just to make sure everybody sees the pattern, let's keep it the same color. So we have our area of resistance. We have an area of support. Then we have the big upwards move right there. And then a few golfers try to make it a little bit more visual. Put the golf hole down here, and this would be known as a bull pennant pattern. Now, just because something's in a bullish pattern does not mean for sure guaranteed it's going to go upwards. But it is certainly more than plausible to think that if the price were to hover around and then come up there and get the break, that break right there could create some upside buying pressure. Again, is that guaranteed to happen? Of course not, but is it at least a valid question to throw out there as a potential scenario? Absolutely. So if you like bull pennant patterns, you like stocks right around the dollar range, keep an eye on it. Next one here, GIBO, after a bigger pullback from yesterday's action from here all the way down to there. Still more work to be done to get back up into this range of the chart, but to give credit's due. Going into today, that purple line was a pretty important level, and the price did a fantastic job of not only respecting that level by staying above it, but actually got a very nice bounce back up above it. So from that framework, nothing really new to talk about compared to yesterday from a sports standpoint, other than just saying, yes, that purple line there, 50-period moving average, right now valued at 0.0723, remains the key area of support. But again, to pat the bulls on the back, good job today of not only, like I said, maintaining above it, but actually getting some separation back to the upside. As far as now levels of resistance to keep an eye on, main level that stands out to me is right here around this area, give or take, of 0.105. But going through the history of the chart, you can see right there resistance in kind of a little batch right there. And then that's also right where the price got rejected from right there. So if the price does try to curl back upwards, then like I said, 0.105 going to be that first key battleground. But all things considered, the big picture trend is still in the overall uptrend, and that is because the price continues to stay above that purple line, which is why it's so important. Next one, SLRX. Very ugly looking chart, no doubt about it. To think that at one point the price was all the way up here, and I think some poor souls bought right there. Hopefully they were using stop losses, and for the price to now drop all the way down here, ugly looking chart, but for you longer time viewers, you know what I'm going to say next. There can be opportunity in the ugly. And what makes this an interesting scenario moving forward is the price is now approaching that purple line there, which I just talked about, that 50-period simple moving average. And while there are no guarantees, is it valid? Is it plausible to think that the price could come down to that purple line and then maybe bounce? Now, when I say bounce, I don't mean return up to highs, but relative to what's being risked, could you get quite a bit more upside compared to the risk? Yeah, absolutely. Now, this, of course, assumes you're going to be disciplined and honor stop loss and all that. But assuming you can be a disciplined trader, and if this thing gets a little bit more ugly by, like I said, moving down here a bit more, you could be looking at a very nice risk versus reward scenario. Now, if the price does bounce off those areas, that main area of resistance in my mind to keep an eye on would be that level right there. So keep an eye on that. But yes, if you like these scenarios where things are looking very, very ugly, but then you're thinking, okay, when everybody else panics out, maybe that's when I should be entering in. Then you have a couple of those interesting levels down there if there's, can pull back a bit more. So if you like these scenarios, keep an eye on it. Next one, HCTI, and this one continues to do some consolidating. And overall today, a neutral day, not a whole lot to get excited about, but to be fair, it does seem like the bulls are trying to chip away and now build a new higher base, with that being right there at 0.047. You can see several times going back to late day yesterday, price bounced off that level, and then you can see right there, price came down there and held strong, even like it held strong right there, that little miniature bounce off it right there. So like I said, 0.047, I would say is that next important level. Am I going to call that a do or die level? I wouldn't call that a do or die, but in my mind, the do or die level is the pink line down here, which represents that 200-period moving average right now valued at 0.0313. But again, one step at a time, because to be fair, the price has done a fantastic job so far of holding above 0.047. As far as areas of resistance are concerned in the near term, That first key level to watch in terms of the price needing to now break back above it, going to be that 50 period moving average right there, valued at 0.0611. Then if the price pushes up through there, then yeah, we have the overarching trend line that I drew from a couple days ago. So one hurdle at a time, and like I said, that first key hurdle, that 50 period moving average. So we'll see how it continues to play out. Next one here, OPEN, and the bleeding continues, but to be fair, and this will mean a little bit more to those of you that have watched past videos, from the big picture point of view, I'm still giving the advantage to the bulls because as of now, the price is still above these critical areas at the $1.81 mark, and then also that pink line there, which you know is the 200 period moving average. So actually, because that's a moving average, that pink line has now moved up above the $1.81 mark. So technically speaking, the price could still drop below that pink line, but still be okay because it'd be above $1.81. But if the price comes down there and breaks through both those areas, that would not be a good sign at all, as that would be implying now that the price would be entering down into this, sorry about that, but it would be entering into this area of the chart here where you can see it kind of becomes a no man's land until you get all the way back around there. So it's trying its best to hold on, and it's pulling back more today, but like I said, to be fair, it is still technically above those levels. If there is any sort of bounce in like a couple of these other charts we've already talked about, keep it on that purple line right there, the 50 period moving average as that main battleground point. Real quick, want to take a break and offer you up a solution that I see very, very commonplace, and that is I want to be a day trader. I want to have unlimited day trades, but because of that pattern day trading rule, I'm not able to do it. And here is a solution for you to become a day trader immediately. And again, a day trader being defined as having unlimited day trades every single day. There is an opportunity available in a different market, and it was I'm actually doing. So I'm putting my money where my mouth is with all this. So if you're a little skeptical, then you can always swing by. I am live streaming every day, 11 a.m. Eastern, and I go for a few hours. So swing by, check it out, but you'll see that this is an amazing market that quite frankly moves even faster than penny stocks and small caps. But you also have very, very minimal risk because of the way everything is set up. And like I said, if you want to learn more, just check out that link or just come check out the live stream and you can see me do it and ask me any questions that you have with it. But yes, if you are sick and tired of being bogged down by that pattern day trading rule and you want to have unlimited day trades, check out that link. Next one here, SGD, and we have a pattern here that I talked about before, so I'm going to go through it quicker because you've already heard me talk about this pattern. But there's our area of resistance. Here is our area of support, and then let's just make sure everybody sees it. So let's keep it the same color here. So we have resistance, we have support, we have the big move up, we have the golf hole down here, and we have ourselves another bull pennant pattern. So if you're somebody that likes bull pennants and you like this price range, you now have definitely a couple different choices to choose from. Next one, DRRX. Very interesting scenario here. Things started off so volatile the opening part of the day and then dropped a little bit. But then this is where things get, just makes you go, And sometimes those situations that make you go, can be worth keeping an eye on. Now, maybe nothing ever comes out of it, but again, unique to see how crazy it was. And then this tight little range has formed. Now, the interesting thing about the tight range is that it is at least going sideways here. Now, let me be very clear, and I wish I could say trading was this easy. Just because there is a strong move up, just because there's a pullback, and just because it's now going sideways does not mean for sure guaranteed the pullback is over and it's now going to head back upwards. But is it at least plausible? Is it at least a valid scenario, question mark, to throw out there? In my opinion, absolutely. So is this some sort of, tight little range here? Is this a leading indicator where this thing's going to try to curl back upwards and find some more momentum? That's kind of a mouthful there. We'll see what happens with it. But if you like these sorts of scenarios that make you go, certainly keep it on your watch list. Next one, TNFA, nice mover today. And one of these that I kind of already talked about with some of these other ones where, yes, things got ugly here for a while, but notice how it leveled out and curled back up. Now, that's not to say those other ones are going to do the exact same thing, but this illustrates the logic behind that, where just because things are looking ugly, you never know. Things might try to, curl back up, and that is what we have here. So moving forward, key area of resistance as we head into Wednesday, now going to be right there at the 16-cent mark. From a support standpoint, and I've already talked about this before, so again, I'm just going to go through it quicker, but from that overarching standpoint, just continue to watch that purple line right there, 50 period moving average. As the name implies, moving average, so that line's going to move itself higher and higher. So it's essentially like a trend line that's drawing itself for you. So as long as the price stays above the uptrending trend line, then overall the trend is still plenty in the bull's favor. But yes, keep an eye on 16 cents, and we'll see if the price can try to make a push up through there on Wednesday. Next one here, NVDA, and this is a little tricky to talk about because it's all about perspective. I mean, if you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, or whatever you want to call yourself, and you're buying up here and your plan was to buy and sell within 7 minutes, well then yes, from that standpoint, the chart is looking very rough because, yeah, there was a big pullback from those highs. But when you take a step back and you look at multiple days, you can see the overall trend is still very much so in the upwards direction. So overall, the chart is completely bullish. Again, I'm well aware I sound crazy calling this chart bullish if you're a day trader that bought right there. But that's why I'm trying to differentiate between day traders and people that care about the bigger picture point of view. And the price with this pullback is now actually approaching a pretty important area of support. Again, I wouldn't call it a do or die level, but essentially kind of a double whammy of support. Whammy number one, you have this area that I talked about previously at the 175 mark. And then whammy number two, you have that purple line, which you know is a 50-period moving average. And they're basically valued at the same area. So are there guarantees? Of course not. But is it valid to think the price could come down there and maybe get some sort of bounce off that area? That is certainly a valid scenario. But even if it doesn't, there's still plenty of other areas of support down below, with the next key level of potential support then being down there right around the 174 mark. But like I said, all in all, the chart is fine. Assuming that you're not just looking at today. But when you look at multiple days, like I said, still plenty of opportunity to continue to build the uptrend. Next one here, TSLA Tesla, and some good and bad. So the bad is for anybody that was looking at this bull pennant that I drew out yesterday, you can see started off the day breaking to the downside of the pattern. So that bull pennant has been violated. It no longer exists, and the bears definitely wrecked that bull pennant pattern. With that said, that's a more narrow view. When you look at multiple days, and this will mean more to those that have watched past videos, well, you can see here that the trend line that I drew from a few days ago, sure, the price is close to it, but to be fair, the price is still nicely above it. Therefore, the price is still technically in an uptrend, hence it's staying above the uptrending trend line. So yeah, not great when bull pennants are getting destroyed to the downside. But again, that was just a daily bull pennant, and you can see here that the overall trend is still hanging in the bull's favor. So moving forward, continue to watch that trend line there, and preferably speaking, you want to see the price stay above it. If it doesn't, then those moving averages right there become more important. So keep an eye on those areas from an overall resistance standpoint. And then in terms of, or did I say resistance standpoint? I meant from a support standpoint. And then from an area of resistance standpoint, I'm very curious about that trend line right there. So we'll see if that comes into play again, and if it does present some problems. But in my opinion, if the price comes up there and then can push up through there, I could see that spark some upside momentum. But all in all, not the greatest day for Tesla. But again, think about that word day, as in one day. Looking at multiple days as we're doing here, the price is still in an uptrend. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you want a solution to getting around that pattern day trading rule, then check out the link that you see at the top of the screen. It's also down in the description area, and that will take you to a market where, again, there's no pattern day trading rule. This market is open 6 days a week, 23 hours a day. So there's a lot of flexibility for your schedule. And like I said, the market that I'm trading and that you'll be able to gain access to moves very, very quickly. And as I'm assuming, as a trader, you like volatility. That's why you're looking at these small caps and penny stocks. So if you want your socks knocked off you in terms of things that move that much more volatile, then make sure to check out the market and give it some consideration. And like I said, you can see it all in action. So you can see me put my money where my mouth is with all of this by checking out the live stream, which again starts every day at 11 a.m. So make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, and that way you can be made aware. So thanks for watching. Make sure you get signed up for, or at least check out what I'm proposing here. Get signed up for it, and if you do, make sure to use code CLAY. So thanks for hanging out. Take care.